Welcome back, everybody. DestinysJesus here. In today's video, I'm breaking down what I learned from the most recent duo cash cup. I haven't done one of these videos in absolute ages, so I've been more focused on coaching. But as you guys know, I've been absolutely milking my ass off this season. And in this cash cup, I was actually playing pretty good. We got 84 points in like 5 games, some really solid end games that I've been breaking down. And it's basically just what I learned from coaching and watching loads of top tier pros this season, trying to implement it in my gameplay. So hopefully this will be helpful for you guys. Just loads of end game focused stuff for you to learn from. As always, make sure you like the video, and let's get straight into this with a whole load of tips for you guys. Alright, so it's a really common situation where you've got no rotations on backside. There's only a maximum 50-50, and this is one thing you should always do that I learned from running top pro teams. So basically, always try to run down the middle and just build a little bit of wood like this. Other teams are just going to be chilling in their box and just waiting to pad, so you can get a little bit further forward, and this means that you can potentially white line into zone and just run straight, or it just means that you've got a way easier job of recycling because you know exactly where the teams are. You can see if a team's moved or not, and instead of running towards getting a pad from while being installed, now you run back into storm to get a pad, so it makes it way easier to recycle. As you can see, just watch we do here. Team pads on our left, and just try and have a little bit of pre-build, makes it way easier for us to recycle. We almost go for a refresh as well by going for a pump on someone as they hit a pad. This is definitely worth doing because you can sometimes just land in someone's box and get free dual work. However, as you can see, we don't actually go for this because he ends up getting dropped into a different team's box, so you don't take the risk going for the fight.
Leave it.
Again, here on first movement, you get a max distance zone, no rotate. Just pre-building a little bit of a tarp like this, just so you can have an easier job of finding a pad is really to do. This extra box here allows you like an extra 1 or 2 seconds to recycle a pad, and it makes it so easy to do, especially when there's a team on height padding. You don't want to be just sitting in a box and not being able to see where it is. As you can see here, we get a free recycle on a pad just by building forward a little bit. One of the biggest changes this season, in my opinion, compared to last, is the fact on the zone changes. People are used to them now, especially top pro teams, and you need to be using the fact that first moving is honestly really easy to rotate in. Everyone is padding, everyone is using double dip pads and then landing, or they're just tarping into the end zone, and you need to be trying to conserve as many mats as possible going into second moving, because that is the hardest zone to rotate at the moment. If you manage to do a good job of having good mats going into second moving, and then you can survive pretty much the majority of the time. If you've got like a decent amount of wood left on third moving, you can normally get into a top 5 position just based on saving mats on first moving and having good rotates in second moving. So you can see here how we're able to do this. It's basically running on right side. I'm trying to tactical sprint. All these teams have got in, they've padded and then tarped in, so we're going to use this to our advantage. All these teams up top here are just setting up and getting boxed up, waiting for zone, so we can actually get a free rotate in, and we actually go the whole way to right side here towards dead side slightly, so for the next zone spots we're going to have a really easy free running, as you can see here on the dead side. So the big change, as I was saying before, is just how second moving works now, where it goes extremely far. So you need to be ahead of rotating early. Unless you have an extra pad here, you're basically screwed unless you can use dead side, or unless you're on a really high layer to rotate, because you have to tarp through so many mats. You can see here we're going right side on dead side and get a really free tarp. It's basically just saving some of this techno mats. Everyone else is just running and using tac sprint, which is of course something you can do. It's a little bit more risky, but if you can do a cheap tarp like this, get into the end zone, you'll normally end up in a pretty stacked position going into later moving when everyone else is running out of mats, and you still manage to conserve a good bit of mats. Right here, this is actually a pretty nice thing you guys can do, is whenever you're towards the end of zone, wait for zone to catch up to you. Obviously don't be in a spot where you can get held too badly when I can't highlight here. Wait for zone to catch up to you a little bit, and then what you're going to go ahead and do is sprint, or just use a small like that, and you can actually get way further into the end of zone. So now we're in a really good position. Basically everyone who's just following our tarp or is behind us has to come straight into us, especially when zone swaps. The majority of zone pools wherever it goes next. Either it goes back through our tarp and we can just run back through it, or it's going to swap towards us and we get a lot of kills on this hole, as you can see here. Right here, I think this is a potential DJ milk. Both for whites at this point, but I have like a few more mats than my teammate. So as you can see, you get a kill on a duo on backside. If I let my teammate go for the mats there, then I can actually tarp for a second on right side of the zone. I can shoot a cheap tarp, and then he can run in storm with whites and get all the mats. Instead, as you can see here, he runs
I need to just run with.
I get in the same amount of mats and actually come towards him, but at this point he's getting pumped from behind. I try to come in and get in my box and I'm going down here with a bit of regen. Still though, in the majority of these games, if you just make it into third moving with decent amount of mats, you end up getting like top 5 kills normally, which isn't too bad. This thing I saw most of Malibu can do is just basically acting quite aggressively on these zone transitions. This is the easiest time to get a refresh, it's just acting aggressively at points like this. You can see I tank a bit of storm, go for a window, and this guy, he's getting shot by the other side of the surgery, and she goes down after attacking there. And that is the easiest point in the zone to get a refresh. So when the zone swaps, Everyone is moving, everyone is building. That is the easiest point. So many people, they wait for the end of zone to go for a refresh and try to do like a pre-edit play or a wall replace play. But at that point, everyone is a duo boxed up together, they're holding walls together in a format of top. This is the easiest point to go for a kill. It's exactly when zone swaps, and you can just get more than somebody quite simply like that. So you can see we're getting 70 stack from that, and we're going into the first moving just by padding here, and then that good mat's going to second moving for every pulls. Right here again, very simple way for going for a refresh, just having a stair like this, editing your floor so no one can place anything over it, and then just going for shots from people follow you as they run past you. Could have potentially got a kill here, but the important thing is when you get damage like this or when you nearly get a kill, it's a lot greedy for, especially with the decent stat like we are here. And instead we decide to go ahead and prioritize getting front side. We spot where zone is playing downhill, and then we get down to a really good layer which allows us to get into a top 5 spot this game. Right here we're basically shambles on mats. I decided to go ahead and try cut off low. I probably should have gone a bit more center of zone so we have an easy job against refresh, but we played sort of edge of zone here and tried to look for a kill. We definitely should have got a kill in this spot, however we didn't get nice synergy on going for these pump shots on different people, and we didn't get these kills on these solos. We definitely should have. If we get one of these kills here, then we're in a really good position and we get run into this sort of scuff spot. We run into another duo that was more center of zone. So you can see here, this is a protein there in the center of zone. Hit 100, shotguns should go down. Good thing though is Moan actually managed to get out of the box here. I dropped my extra mats and he's able to just play Storm for a second and clutch up extra placement from this game. One of the worst things you can do in the endgame list is just one of you trying to overcommit too early, as you can see, and then going down together. If you one of you just plays a little bit back, you'll always be able to get more placement just by playing alive. Like he is here, he gets the top 3 just from playing alive for a second and playing solo. Right here is probably the most shambles endgame you're ever going to see. I'm pretty sure you're happy with how we played this. As you can see, we're going to endgame with bandages, 3 splashes, and I'm pretty sure my teammate had 1 mini going into this, and we were extremely shambles. One important thing though is we needed to recycle a pad, so we invested a lot of mats here. You can see we've got a really big tarp. We ramped height late. We played in this building for a second, let teams rotate in below us. Then we ramped them. Then 50-50 when it put max. We put all these extra metal stairs just so we can go ahead and recycle a pad for free, like we do here.
I might be dead.
One important thing you can see there is whenever your teammate is hitting the pad first, whoever is first always needs to choose a spot. I see people do that the whole time, where the guy who's second will try to mark a spot and it doesn't work. Just let the guy who's first choose a spot. And also we do a play here which actually leaves the tree for a second so we don't get served while our metal is building on my teammate's healing. Alright, right here as you can see we get first swing sort of pulling towards us. However, it's not really as pulling towards us as possible, so we can actually pad and only use 1 pad and not really have to top too much. So what I decided to go ahead and do is call for us to just run first moving for a second here. It's something you can only really do if people above you aren't too aware, and as long as you got a lot of shield really you can learn through by getting tanked. So you can see we run for a second here and we should get like a good like 15-20 meters forward. That will allow us to save all of our mats when we go ahead and pad in the second here. Definitely worth doing if you can do it, especially when you get first moving and it's pulling into dead side and you have a free run like that. Try to do it at the correct timing so your pad is even more effective. Right here we actually get a max assistant second moving. This is why we were trying to conserve our pad from earlier.
Right there below us in the brightness where.
So you can see what we're going to go ahead and do is spray out this pad, recycle someone else's pad, and make sure to dive into the open space so we pull our glider as well as possible. So we're not marching onto it, and then we float under height as well, so we're not in a position where we can get beat by height. Unfortunately, Mona hits the Mona Milk in a second here. So as we land, we're chilling, going to pan again.
Box.
He decides to just jump in the kid's box.
I died. No.
And he gets 1 pump. Unfortunately, just with the shotguns at the moment, jumping into a box isn't really a worthwhile play. It means that you can get killed really easily. So the rest of this game is just me trying to solo clutch from backside. Mantle onto highlight for a second here. Gonna chill and let Storm catch up to me. Don't need to aggro anyone. Whenever you're trying to solo clutch, if you have enough mats, it's always worth doing a 2x1 just so you don't get jumped in or pre-edited on by a trio or something. Which you obviously. You can see here I actually do a pretty nice play where I run underneath height. As you can see that I spotted height for a second, was like straight over my head, so they couldn't actually get an angle to shoot me. Height's not the best, so they're actually going straight over the top of people they need to shoot. And I get the whole way down the front side, make a 2x1 again. On Logan in a really good position. I can potentially go for a kill, but most importantly I can just chill and wait for zone to swap. And now I'm on the front side where the zone pulls.
Get front side already. Do you have a pallet still? Are they fighting on head or something?
At this point, I realised that I'm second height, going to get sprayed by this team in a second, so I need to start dropping. I pressure this guy for a second and then sprint down next to him, as you can see here. The reason I pressured him is just so he'd actually stop and not be able to fight me. But as soon as you get pressured, you have to hold the wall for like 1 or 2 seconds. Everyone does that. So it allows me to get a free rotate in here and heal up for a second as well.
Still got so much mats. Tank? Yeah. It's fine, it's fine. Just use your flash. Plays far. Okay. Try to stay here for as long as possible. Just sprint.
Now at this point, it was like top 6 teams left, and I saw one solo. Pretty much everyone else is a duo. There's duo on high, duo on low, duo on mid-ground tarping, and I spotted this guy was the only solo I could see. So I just thought, may as well get it. I did have enough mats to keep on playing and maybe get like a top 5. But if I get this kill here, then I take out another solo, I get that guaranteed top 5. And I also get myself into a position where I've got a good amount of mats going into endgame. I got to 13 HP and going down, which isn't too bad in endgame. Not the worst solo clutch. Now after that, we were 84 and 4, or 84 and 5, and absolutely got milked. Unbelievable scenes. Died to Girly Bella, died to absolutely everything on spawn, and it's to go next. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new.